Ladies and gentlemen, the New Orleans Saints, led by quarterback Derek Carr, just recruited and drafted another Fresno State QB in Jake Haener. The Saints traded for the Jaguars, pick 127 in the 4th round, and they had to give up a 4th round next year and a 7th round pick this year. But the timing was perfect because people started to select quarterbacks right after them, and the Saints were able to grab the Senior Bowl MVP quarterback Jake Haener. This guy can seriously be a star, and he has the perfect mentor out there in New Orleans with another Fresno State quarterback, Derek Carr. So the New Orleans Saints QB room is basically just the 559 Fresno. And according to Jake Haener, Derek Carr talked to him throughout the draft process and even called him right before the Saints made the draft pick.
Conversations with Derek over the last couple of years that I've been at Fresno, and I think he's always just been a sounding board for me and has given me his number, told me if I ever needed anything that he was going to be there for me. And, I got off the phone with him. He just said he's so excited to be able to teach me some of the things he's learned over the years and be a mentor for me.
So the Saints are prepping Derek Carr for this, letting him know what's going on with the QB room. And really, if you like Bryce Young, if you thought Bryce Young was a great prospect, well, Jake Haener is basically Bryce Young, but he just went to a smaller school in Fresno. People kept comparing this guy to Brock Purdy because they knew he would be a sleeper in this draft. And honestly, he's kind of bigger than Bryce Young. He's 6 feet. Bryce Young, yeah, I don't know if he's even 5'10", and Jake Haener weighs the same at 206 pounds. So yes, there is an injury risk there, but this guy is one of the top passers in college football last year, top 15 in terms of PFF grade, had an insane touchdown interception ratio. Even though he was injured part of last year, he had 20 touchdowns and only 3 picks. And if you had any concern that he's playing against a small school, he's playing against weak competition, well, he proved in the Senior Bowl that he can ball out against potential NFL talent, and he models his game after Drew Brees too. He even said that this is a blessing because he used to study Drew Brees and even wear his jersey.
Staying in the Saints were my childhood team growing up because I love watching Nine play, and that is just so unbelievable that I literally would wear Drew Brees jerseys, I'd wear Saints beanies, and having the opportunity to go play in New Orleans is really just going to be a dream come true.
And this guy has great arm strength, and he is a gamer. He is able to make improvised plays, and that's what he does not get enough credit for. I watched every home game of Jake Haener in person in 2021. This guy will buy time in the pocket and be able to keep his eyes down the field to see if he can find a nice target. And in 2021, where you really saw Jake Haener display his toughness was in that UCLA matchup. Fresno State were underdogs, of course, and Jake Haener fought and battled through injuries and had an amazing comeback win against UCLA and Dorian Thompson-Robinson.
Fresno State has won a game that will be remembered forever.
He was on the floor emotional, and it just showed you how much passion this guy has for the game and how much he's down to put his body on the line just to get a W. 2021 was when he last played an entire full season. You see it there, 33 touchdowns, 9 picks, 107 passer rating, had that ankle injury last year, so didn't complete the whole entire season towards the middle. And Jake Haener seems like he's a true professional, conducts himself well, always ready for the challenge, modest, down to grind. And maybe he's so great at public speaking because he's got a mother who's also a weather lady out there in the Bay Area for quite some time. So maybe that's where Jake gets his great speaking skills, and quite possibly his good looks. No, I'm not gonna do that, dude. And what's crazy is he was originally a part of Washington, but he was not the starter there. He eventually transferred to Fresno State, and he had the shot to go back to Washington for his senior year, and he said, hell no, I'm sticking with Fresno. And man, the New Orleans Saints now have just one of the best QB rooms in the entire NFC South. It's absolutely no question. You have Derek Carr, who's going to be your franchise QB for the next 3 years, and then you have Jake Haener studying under this guy, trying to learn the game from not only Derek Carr, but Jameis Winston, who is still a proven quarterback in this league, just dealing with some injury issues. But you got a solid unit there. The young up-and-comer, even though he's still 24 years old, couple great veterans, one who's your franchise quarterback. I think the Saints are ready to go at the quarterback position, and Jameis and especially Derek Carr are the perfect mentors for somebody like Jake. And maybe Derek Carr tipped Dennis Allen and the New Orleans Saints to this guy, let him know, hey, you gotta select him. Trust me, he's gonna be special. NFL in a few years. We mentioned earlier that Carr talked to Haener throughout the draft process, but he's known him for years because they all played at Fresno State. They've been in contact way before Haener even declared for the NFL draft. Either way, man, if you're a Fresno State Bulldogs fan like I am, you gotta be stoked about this. And if you're a fan of the Saints and Derek Carr, it's really interesting to see that Derek Carr's never had this opportunity. He's barely 31 years old, but he's never had the chance to mentor a guy. He's primarily been in his 20s throughout his career with the Raiders, and I'm really curious to see how he would do. I think really Derek Carr, because the strength of his game, even if you want to knock him, is his football IQ, I think he's the perfect person to pass the torch on to somebody for the long term. Comment below your grade for this draft pick for the New Orleans Saints. They just gave up a 4th round pick next year in the 7th round to get Jake Haener out of Fresno State. I give this an A+. And subscribe to this channel if you want more NFL content and also more content about specific teams like the New Orleans Saints. My name is WiFiWillie. Peace out, and I hope you have a good one.